Hi everyone, my name's Steve Rowe. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about mindfulness in the martial arts. It's something that is very popular at the moment everywhere. There are a lot of companies and schools, education and so on that are including mindfulness in their training as defining how valuable it actually is. And in the martial arts it tends to be something that gets neglected because we seem to be moving heavily into a gym type culture. So everything's about the physical side of it. And the mental side tends to be more kind of guru led or kind of meme led from Facebook of no pain, no gain, blah, blah, blah. But looking at what mindfulness can actually do for us and how important it is in our training is quite interesting. I think the first thing is to create mindfulness, to create any kind of meditation. You don't have to necessarily just sit and Seated meditation is very good. Following the breath is very good. That's very easy, very simple. And if you get posture, breathing and mental focus out of that, that's good. But also to focus in on an activity is also very good. If you can include in your training good posture, good breathing, and they're skills that you can get information from a variety of different places. And if you can keep and make your mind aware and focused, the more active you can be and the more mentally aware and focused you can be, the more mindful you become. It makes you a good student because you're paying attention, which is what mindfulness really means, isn't it? Paying attention. If as a student you can pay attention to the instructor, if you can pay attention to the instructions that you've been given so that you can actually use them, you will learn a lot faster. From a coach's point of view, it's very easy if you teach a lot of classes to allow your mind to just kind of get lazy and you're not paying attention to the students, you're not paying attention to your lesson planning and so on. So mindfulness works in a lot of different ways. Now for me, one of the most important parts of mindfulness is what I call continuous nei gong. Nei is inner and gong means work. So continuous nei gong for me, with my students, what I encourage them to do is to take the postural alignment, good posture, good breathing and a mindful attitude out into their everyday life. All the time that you're mindful, you're alive. All the time that you're not mindful, you're a zombie because you're elsewhere. A lot of our activity is active and continuous. So if I say to my students, one of the biggest postural challenges is raising the head. So when I say to them, raise the head, they go, whoop. But then seconds later they go, and when I see them going out the door afterwards, they're like, So I'm always shouting at people as they go out the door, raise the head. It's active and you have to raise the head all the time. So it has to be something that's constant. So every time I sit down, I raise the head. Every time I stand up, I raise the head. All the time I'm walking, I'm raising the head. That's mindfulness. That's good mindfulness training. So good posture, good movement, and being mindful as to your attitude towards things means you're not just dismissive. You tend to not be nasty or horrible because being mindful to how other people feel is quite important. It makes you a good martial artist, full of mind. In some languages, it's a very difficult thing to translate because mindful is a very kind of English word. We say mind the gap in a train, mind the child. It can mean a lot of different things. But for us, being full of mind, actually staying aware all the time, for us, it's a very good term. I like it. But mindfulness doesn't just mean sitting and meditating. It's something that has to be incorporated into your everyday life. And when the Buddha was asked, what positions should we meditate in? He said, sitting, standing, laying down and walking. In other words, it's something you have to be doing all the time. And sometimes, in the dojo, people say, when are we going to learn to meditate? And they're like, that's what you're doing all the time. Being mindful, paying attention, listening to what you're taught, applying it, using it outside, continuous nei gong, constantly standing, sitting with good posture, breathing well, keeping your mind focused. You know, for children at school, it's so important for learning. For adults, we get into these bad habits so quickly and easily where we don't pay attention to people, we don't listen to what they're saying. Sometimes we're just waiting to talk and we're not paying attention to how they feel. So that kind of mindfulness is something that we should develop. It's a very important part of our training. It's very beneficial, and you know, it does alter and change your entire life.